I'm Lisa Raitt with the Raitt Homestead Farm Museum. The concept of our Mainely Grillin Chillin barbecue came from the fact that I'm originally from the South, and we do a lot of fundraisers here at the farm. And I thought, how fun would it be to bring barbecue to Maine? Because I was missing it, and and I thought it would be a really good avenue to get a little bit more exposure for a barbecue in New England. So contacted KCBS and NEBS, New England Barbecue Society, and started with that. And we've grown in the past 4 years. We've grown and then kind of tapered off with the teams that we have. The first year, we actually had 28 teams, and our winner went on to win the Jack Daniels, which was fantastic because that's the ultimate title that the teams want to get. So we were thrilled to have that, and it's just grown from there. We've added other things to the event, but my near and dear to my heart is the barbecue. Like I said, I was so used to being able to go around and just stop at a barbecue joint. So it's really nice to try all of the teams' barbecue and try to see what they're doing, because everybody does something different, and it's all delicious though. I love it. So that's the concept of the barbecue, and I dragged the rest of these guys into into doing it. Yeah, so they just kind of follow what I need to be done for the event. And then Steve here, I'll hand it over now, and he can talk about the farm museum itself.
Okay, I'm Steve Beckett. I'm president of the Raitt Homestead Farm Museum, and like Lisa said, the barbecue is one of our events. We've been doing it for 4 years, but it was little skeptical, I guess we could say, that the board of directors of the farm museum were when she brought it to us about doing an event like that, because it's New England and we wondered how that would go over. We're on an 1896 farm, dates back to 1896. It goes back beyond that. It actually was the Raitt family that owned it, but the farm as it stands today was built by Charles in 1896, and he was a local entrepreneur, had team horses that he hired out and worked in the woods. He had a sawmill, did lumber. He did wood in the winter for his brick kilns. He had a brickyard up on the Piscataqua River, shipped bricks to Boston and all over New England and even to England. And he had apple orchards and things like that. So he was a local entrepreneur. And his family, back in the 30s, I guess, after Charles had gone, and the orchards and stuff died off, they turned it into a dairy farm. And it remained into a dairy farm up into the 1970s and 80s. And then Gerald Raitt, the last son that lived here at the farm, had dairy cows and beef cows. He transitioned over to beef for a while and then sort of went out of the milk business. And 17 years ago, here at the farm, they started the Eliot Antique Tractor and Engine Show, which was the major event. So to bring a barbecue on board, that gave us something else as a venue for another event to hold here at the farm, and also, get people here to keep not only the farming heritage alive, but it brought something new to New England and to Maine. So we've been doing it, like I said, for 4 years. We do the tractor show. That's our other big event for the summer, and we try to keep farming heritage alive for people to see that aren't used to it, have never seen it. And I think the barbecue now is sort of melded right in with that and become a staple of something here on the farm that the people expect to see. It's worked out great for us. We get good comments, and it's been a good turnout. And again, like I said, it started out as a skeptical thing for us, but we would learn to grow with it and change with it, which I think it's what it's all about. So I think that's it's one of the things that keeps life interesting, and it would go with what Charles did back in his day, being an entrepreneur and being into certain aspects of farming and lumbering and brick making. He expanded out, so that's what we're doing today, over 100 years later here at the Raitt Homestead Farm Museum. We're trying new things, we're keeping things alive, and hopefully keeping them going for future generations. Our website is
RaitFarmMuseum.org. You can also find us on Facebook, obviously.
Now, they have 2 pieces of wood. They have to split it enough so that they can fit it through the hole on that backstop. And whoever does it the fastest is going to be the winner for that event.
Strictly time.
What?
Strictly time.
Strictly time, yes, sir. Has to fit through the hole in that plywood.
Gotta find the mix. I don't want to spend too much time making them small, but if they're too big, they won't fit.
There you go, Bernie. Start stopping.
Fast as you can. Keep them moving.
Hurry up, Bernie. Good ball, Bernie. Keep going, hurry. What's that kid feature? Come on.
Again, this is Evan and Bernie. They're going to be followed by Matt and Dave. Alouette.
Come on, Bernie.
How'd I do?
What's that kid feature? Flip more wood at night than on the day.
There he goes. One down. Bernie's right behind him.
There you go. That little piece.
All right. Now we want the stock chainsaw, which is provided. That was being provided right here by Eliot Small Engine and steel went in together with this to supply the saws that we're going to use for the stock. Stock appearing means it just has to look like a chainsaw. You can do whatever you want to the inside of it. You can't put on a big carburetor and a tuner pipe. It has to look like a normal chainsaw. Okay, let's get all the saws warmed up right now. Anybody who wants to warm up their saw, do so now. We'll make a bunch of noise, get a crowd. Warm them up. Okay, so they had their warm-up. Now they're going to do what's called a cold start. They lock their throttle, make sure the switch is on, decompression buttons pushed, all that stuff. When they're ready, they're going to put their hands on the wood. When I give them the countdown, they have to make 3 complete cuts. Down, up, down. Yep, good question. Yep, hands on the wood. When you're... Herb, we need a ruling. You want the palm on the wood or the hands? The palm. Palm of your hand on the top of the wood. There you go. That'll include all your fingers if you got your palm up there. All right, we got timers on Christy. Timers on Katie. Clear your watches. Here's your countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Look at that. The bigger saw did not come out on top of that little heat. Good job, girls. We need Heather Maine. Okay, Evan's going by himself. That's the boss saying that. So, Evan, you're on your own, bud. You want to warm it up again? Okay. Hands on the wood when you're ready. Okay, timers, clear your watches. Competitor, here's your countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. All right. If you think this event is exciting, you ought to try running a show, doing the timing and everything, and competing. It's not an easy task. But Brenda's going to come out, she's going to saw. She'll be running by herself. And then we're going to have Mark Reed and Dave Grime in the following heat. Okay, so here's Brenda. Marty, you may just well have him pull it out too while he's there.
Hello, my name is Walter Hanson. I'm the commander of the 2nd Regiment of York County. The 2nd Regiment of York County came out of this end of Eliot. At the time, it was known as the Upper or Middle Parish of Kittery during the American Revolution. And we provided men during the whole length of the American Revolution. And basically, we're setting up a small encampment to teach as close as, not as close, but as approximately as we can of the life and time of the American Revolution.
The Denny Mike
Denny Mike's
rubs.
all natural, gluten-free, no MSG, no junk rubs and sauces. The sauces range from Mosquito Madness, which is the sweetest, to Carolina, which is a vinegar-based, which is absolutely the best on pulled pork, and then the other two are self-explanatory. There you go. Thank you. Napkins are right here. Can I get you some? Okay. Take a walk in the wild there. You gotta put some sauce on it. You gotta sauce it. Throw some sauce on it. Here you are. You got a fork?
Yeah, I got one.
Mosquito Madness. Yeah. You like the Carolina? Vinegar is the absolute best on pulled pork. Can I offer you some?
Sure. Just a little bit.
I'm sure you heard my spiel.
Yes.
Okay. We're not in the contest. We don't want your tickets. All we want you to do is taste the pork and the sauces. Sweet. Most sweetest. Carolina vinegar. The other two are hot.
But where can they buy it?
Whole Foods, Hannaford's, online, www.dennymikes.com, and Denny Mike himself, if you ever seen him.
Hamburger, beef from the meat house. They generously provided that. We're going to give you 1.5 pounds, and you're making little sliders. And we're also going to be cooking on the Easy Grills. And we have John Hodgson, who's going to explain fire safety to you in a minute. So you'll take your burgers and your buns, and you'll have from 10:30 to 11:30 to cook for 1 whole hour. You can do whatever you want, but you have to do it yourselves. You can't have, your parents help you. Of course, they'll be on the side coaching, I'm sure, or with a big clock. Yeah, with a big clock. And then you have to do all of that yourself, okay? If you have any questions, though, you can ask John, and he can help you, or we can see if you need anything. You're going to need to wear gloves, and if you need some, we have some for you guys. But you're going to want, your own spatulas, spices, bring everything. We're going to give you the buns, the beef, and the grill, okay? And we're going to actually do it right up underneath the overhang over here by the cafeteria, because that way, in case it starts to rain, we don't want you guys to get into a situation where it's ruining what you're trying to present to the judges. So, and your turn-in time will be 11:30, and that's going to be right out here in this white tent.
Okay, you have from 5 minutes this is our official clock. You have 5 minutes before, so 11:25 to 11:35. As soon as it hits 11:35, time is out. As soon as you see the 5, that's it. But you don't have too far to go. We want no lates. Yep.
And so you're gonna put your burgers into this box, and it needs to be able to close, or as much as you can, try to get it closed, and then bring it over and present it to either Leslie or Kathy, okay, for the judges, okay?
And your number goes on top.
Yep.
You have to
Number.
have six little burgers or sliders. Let's see, what else?
You can add anything else to it. You can add whatever you want to do as far as, I don't know what you're going to add to it, but you can make, we had cereal, we had all kinds of things last year, so yeah, whatever you want to do is fine. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Carmen?
Is it open garnish?
It is open garnish. Yeah.
So can we preform the patties back at the site, or do we have to do everything?
Everything is done right up here. We're going to hand you at 10:30. Everyone can just, we'll have everything at your place.
Oh, okay.
And then you can just start.
Okay.
So at 10:30, okay? Any other questions?
The grills will already be hot.
The grills will be hot. John is going to actually light them, but he's going to go ahead and give you a little thing on fire safety right now. Working with the grills. He'll take care of the grills. Any problems with the grills?
Alrighty. Okay.
Took a little bottle. These are nice little grills, but they get very hot.
Open the grill.
Alright, so where's our little
I'm making the patties.
What's in your patty? Did you season the meat before you made patties with it, or are you going to season it after they're patties? Okay. How many patties do you need? Okay, because there are 6 judges, right? How long will it take your patties to cook? Until they're done? Do you have a meat thermometer? Okay. And what temperature is the meat thermometer when they're done?
145.
Okay. See? I don't ask any hard questions. You know all the answers. Thank you. You guess or do you know?
I think so.
Okay. How many burger patties are you going to make?
I'm gonna make 8.
8. Did you season the meat before you made the patties?
No.
You going to season it after they're on the grill or before you put them on the grill?
Before I put them on the grill.
Okay. How long do you think it will take each patty to cook?
I'm not sure. Pretty much until my thermometer says it's done.
Okay. At what temperature does your thermometer say it's done?
60.
Okay. Thank you.
So, number 1. It was a good burger. I just thought that the seasonings overpowered the taste of the actual hamburger, because when I have a hamburger, I want to taste burger, and just a little bit too much there, but it was still a very good burger. Number 2, again, cooked pretty good. It was kind of juicy. Again, a little bit overkill on some of the flavors, but it was real good. I mean, this one was one of my more favorites. Number 3. It was cooked pretty good, and it just had a good basic hamburger flavor. Nothing overwhelming. Just pretty good. This one here, I was really hoping it would come out really, really good. Especially with the bacon, because just adding bacon to anything is great, right? The only thing here is I would have laid, if I was cooking this burger, if we just laid back on the blue cheese really permeated through. I just laid back on that a little bit. That would have been ideal. And then my favorite was the last one, number 6. It was nice and juicy.
Not there?
Yeah, right. It had pepperoni. It had pepperoni in it, which I would never put pepperoni on my burger, and I love pepperoni. So I never had it like that. And you still got the hamburger flavor, and it was a good little twist, and it was cooked perfectly.
The first one I thought was pretty good. It was cooked pretty well. I agree with the last judge about the flavor being a little strong. The second one was maybe a touch short of medium. I thought it could have been maybe a little more cooked, but overall it had a good flavor. Just need to be maybe cooked a touch more. The third one I really liked. It was it had a nice smoky flavor to it. It served it plain, but I think with anything on there, it would have been good. You put anything on that one, it would have been ideal. Really good. I agree again with the fourth one as well as the cheese. If they laid back just a touch on the cheese, I think it would have been really, really good. It was cooked great. And the last one, it almost seemed to me like they were trying to make a twist on a meatball grinder. The pepperoni and the provolone cheese. I thought that was really, really good as well.
We didn't talk about okay. So I really like the first one because I like char on things. I like a little bit of crunchy in mine, but that's just how I like my stuff. The second one, for me, was a little. It could have been cooked a little bit longer. It's just my personal preference. I like stuff obviously charred, so if it's not at least medium, but it was really good. It's just it was a little bit too juicy for me. The third one was tasty. As you can see, I ate quite a bit of it actually. I like that one a lot. And the fourth one, I really like the flavor of the blue cheese. Actually, obviously, I like it a little bit stronger, and it was really yummy. That was probably my favorite one. That was closely tied though with the pepperoni one. Oh, that was yummy. So very creative. I have never put pepperoni on a hamburger. I wouldn't have thought of that, and it is very tasty.
Okay, first of all, I think they all did a terrific job. I found the first one a little bit overdone. I'm not with Lisa on the char thing so much. I'm definitely a rare to medium rare person, and the second one I absolutely love because it was kind of pink and juicy and really yummy. Third one was also good. I think the last two, like Lisa, I found to be standouts with the bacon and the blue cheese. That's just a combo that I love. And then the pepperoni and cheese is just for nice creative touches. So.
I actually liked the first one quite a bit. It was done very nicely for me. Number 2 was a little bit underdone for my taste. And the third one I thought was really good, nicely seasoned. I personally don't care for blue cheese, so that kind of turned me off on number 4, but the bacon was cooked perfect and the burger was delicious. I just don't like blue cheese. And I loved the last one. It tasted like a hamburger with a pizza combined.
Okay, for me, I like number 1. The burger was done well. It had great flavor. I thought an overall general burger, I thought it was good. Probably like the other folks commenting at this table, number 2 was a little bit rare for me. That's just my personal preference. Number 3, again, was another good burger, great overall flavor, done pretty much the way I like it. No complaints there. Number 4, it's kind of plain to see. There's nothing left there. And typically I don't like blue cheese, but for some reason, I don't know if there wasn't a lot on mine, but I actually liked it. I found it to be very tasty. And number 5 also, with the pepperoni, was kind of a neat twist. Had good flavor. I don't know if I would have ever thought of that, but I overall did sort of like it.
Just keep it away from... Yeah, so there you go. We can always pull them away from each other a little bit. That one. You think that one in the back? I'm just going to...
Push them down a little.
I'm going to go with my gut. Yeah, set them down a little bit because we don't want the top to hit.
Really?
There you go. Might be a little full on that, but that's okay.
That holds them from moving around when you walk.
Okay.
Get 4, 6.
We have to pull it this way. This one's going to be carefully pulled this way. See if we can get it in. Don't touch the edge of the box. Six it is, Mike. 6 it is. Okay, pull them apart a little bit and get it centered. There you go, and then just pull this one a little bit further. Bring this one a little bit further.
Yeah, we want the same border all the way
Right
around.
there you go, nice. Just a little. Okay, let's work with that. All right, next one. This one right here, I think right there. Nice. I love parsley. That one there. Right here. Good. Yep. And we're going to go with
Okay.
What do you think?
Out of these 6, I liked number 1 and number 5. I liked both of the sauce rubs that were on top, and they were very juicy. Number 2 here was dry, but I did like the taste to it. These 2 were okay. I guess I would just first, second, and third.
Okay. My favorite were number 3 and number 5. They were juicy, nice flavor, nice taste. My least favorite was number 2. Had an acrid, bitter taste to it. Just not pleasing.
Most favorite, number 1. Least favorite, I felt number 4 in terms of flavor. Had the least desirable for myself. The difference between 1 and 6, however, is it's so small. All the turn-ins I felt were very, very good, but number 1 and number 4, best and least.
Of the 6, my favorite was number 3. Both the thigh and the wing were presented and cooked very well. Excellent taste. My least favorite was number 6. The meat appeared to be dry, and the taste wasn't especially good.
My favorite was number 1, and my least favorite was number 4. Number 4, the color was a little off, I thought, and it was a little bit too chewy. Overall, every single entry got the skin almost perfect. It was all bite through and delicious.
My favorite entry was number 1 or number 6, that both of them had a really good balance of flavor and both were very tender. The least favorite would be entry number 4 because it was dry and it had an off flavor to the sauce.
I'm going to try this. I don't know how it's going to work.
When we walk up at 12:30, pull the side support.
We're going to get the burnt ends on too.
Yeah, 12:25.
And these ones he wants on the top. I'm trying to slide them that way.
Jay, what was the time?
12:18.
12:18.
We're doing okay then.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I gotta push them in. Okay, I'm gonna need some parsley. Dressed right here, Jay, to hide that. And then I'm gonna want this. Tell me if I'm wrong. Would I want to put this flipped around where I can hide this under the parsley and have this on the top covering these bones?
You have the thick in the middle, so you don't want to put the thick and the thick together. You want to put the thin and the thick. You know what I mean?
The bones on the top are all right.
The bones on the top are thinner than the bottom. You get it too thick, too high, you're going to have problems with the box.
Where do you want parsley?
I'm feeling real comfortable holding this way.
Boom.
Beautiful.
Where do you want parsley?
Okay, number 1 was above average, but not easy to chew. 2 was a little bit better. Good appearance. 3 was dry and not very tender. 4 was good. 5 was excellent. Very tender and had flavor. And I think 6 was overcooked.
My favorite was number 4. It looked really nice in the box, nice presentation, and it came off the bone. Very nice bite, nice tenderness. I could taste pork, I could taste smoke. The sauce wasn't overwhelming, but it added flavor to it. And my least favorite was number 3. It was a little dry. It was difficult to get off the bone. I don't feel like the presentation was very appealing or neat. There wasn't a ton of meat on the rib. Maybe that was why it came out a little bit dry.
Number 1 was a pretty good rib. It was fairly well done, a little too tough. I found the sauce too sweet for my palate. The second one also was too sweet for me and was overdone. The meat was, I thought, starting to get mushy. The third one was my least favorite overall. They had a spice rub on top that was just overpowering the meat. The meat itself was dried out and way too chewy. It also wasn't a particularly appetizing rib to look at. Number 4 was my favorite one. You could still taste the pork. It had a good smoke flavor, had a good texture to it. It was tender but not mushy. Number 4 was a pretty good rib overall. It was also, I thought, a little too sweet, a little too much kind of candy flavor to it. And the last one also was a little bit on the sweet side, and I thought a little bit too soft.
Let's go through. 2 was actually my favorite. It just had a nice balance of both the taste and it looked great, and the texture was actually a nice, not overdone. 3 was absolutely the worst in all 3 accords. It just came out looking like someone rolled it through sand. It was muddy, had this weird texture, the cross section. It almost feels like they cooked it both too long and too little, like whether they steamed it first or something like that. It just is a very strange cross-sectional look, and the texture was both mushy and stringy at the same time. The 4th one was okay. The 5th one looked great, and surprisingly the 6th one actually ate very well towards the end. It looked really pretty, and it actually had a nice balance of taste.
I thought number 1 was very nicely done. It was had a nice taste to it. My favorite of all was number 2. It was cooked perfectly, had a very good flavor to it. Number 3 was my least favorite. I think everybody at the table agreed. It was very overdone. It was very brown color. It didn't look appealing at all. Number 4 was very good. 5 was very sweet. If you like sweet, it was cooked very nicely. And number 6, I thought had a great flavor, but the meat kind of fell right off the bone when I bit into it, so I thought it was maybe just a little bit overdone.
This is my first judging experience, and so I liked number 5 the best. I thought the flavor of the sauce was very good and the texture of the meat, and I did not like number 3. The spice rub just wasn't for me, and felt like the meat itself was a little funky texture. Thank you.
Take a towel away. You just want to wet it, just the corner of it, in case we need it. That looks good. Just take that little piece off. Thank you. And then. Thank you. Who's a perfectionist? Yeah, you're good. Just hold that.
How are you, Jim?
Okay, I thought number 4 was the best one on the entire plate. We had a little bit of everything. We had slice, had a nice burn end, and good pulled pork. Had flavor, was tender the entire way through, not mushy. I think that was probably the best one I've had of the day. Moving on to number 6, was a little tough. Flavors were kind of overpowering and was not as tender as the rest of them. The overall plate, all the others, 1 through 3 and 5, didn't have a whole lot of taste to them. Were definitely tender, but the taste profile just wasn't there on those. I do appreciate all the burn ends that were included in the boxes, though.
I thought number 4 was probably the best in appearance. It had good taste. It was moist. Number 6 had a lot of fat on it, and the piece I had was overcooked. It was mushy, it fell apart. 4 is probably the winner for me, and 6 is the last.
I also liked 4 the best. The presentation was good, and it was very tasty. All pieces of it were, the bark and the cut pieces were good. Number 1 wasn't bad either. That was decent. And I thought number 2 was on the dry. So my favorite would be 4.
For the pork, I think my favorite was number 4. Presentation was excellent. Very good in tenderness and nice flavor. Number 5 was also very good. Could do a little better with the presentation, but it had a very nice flavor. Least favorite, I think, was number 2. It was definitely on the dry side, and I think that kind of took away from the flavor. It had an interesting smoke taste, but just the dryness of it just kind of overwhelmed it for me.
For the pork, I preferred, well, it was a tie between number 2 and number 5. Number 2 and number 6. Number 2 had a nice smoky flavor, but it was all dry, and number 6 was unctuous and very tasty. My least favorite might have been number 3. It was just kind of bland. It did have a lot of porkiness to it that I liked, but overall less bland.
I felt that number 1 had good flavor and had a very good taste, nicely sauced. 2 and 3 were pretty much overcooked. Number 4 was probably my one of the favorite ones on this sheet, and number 5 and 6 they were all right, but not great. Number 1 and 4 were the best. Thank you.
There. You want to leave that frame around there?
We don't have time.
Yeah.
I'd like to, but
no problem.
12:29.
Yeah, we're
1:29. Sorry.
We're pushing the limit here.
6 minutes.
I'd rather give him a box full of meat.
All right. Man. That's yummy.
Yeah, if you could just take the toothpick and...
Yeah, you got a little more space here.
1:30.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
Yep, got it. I'll get you.
Well, what the bark lacked, the flavor made up for it.
It's good. We're running out of time.
Yep, we're going.
We got 1:31.
We'll make it.
Understand.
She's just being informative that we need to hurry up.
2, 4, 5.
Yep, one more.
Everybody count the slices to make sure there's 6. At least.
There we go. Don't want you in there. There you go.
I don't want to do one more.
You don't? Okay.
We don't have time. 132.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
You can push it.
Don't be scared. You can do it.
You can do it.
I believe in you, Grasshopper.
Yep.
Okay, I would have to say number 1 was probably my favorite for overall having no sauce, no nothing on it. It actually, the flavor was quite good. It was moist. It wasn't dry at all. It was cooked nicely. The third one was probably one of my least favorites because of the sauce just took away from the overall flavor of the meat. Although it was, all of them in general were very well cooked. None of them were horrible on the plate. They were all well cooked, and like I say, one was probably the overall having no sauce, no nothing.
Okay. Well, it's brisket, so they're all great to start with. But my favorite was number 4. It was tender. It had a great taste. My least favorite was tied between number 2 and number 3. They were dry and kind of tough for me. That's it.
My favorite was number 4. It had good flavor. The tenderness was good. Also number 6 I thought was pretty good, had a good flavor and tenderness, but the favorite was 4. Number 2 was too much like roast beef flavor. I felt number 1 was very dry and kind of plain and boring. Number 3, although it had a sauce, still had some kind of blandness to it, but it was tender. And then I felt number 5 was dry as well.
I'm actually going to go with number 3 being my favorite. I felt like there was a good mix of the sauce and the meat. It was actually quite tasty for me. My least favorite was actually number 6, which I thought was just dry and rather bland.
My favorite was number 2. It had a rich, beefy flavor and just the perfect amount of spice. And I'd say number 3 was the worst. It was drowned in sauce.
And I thought number 1 was pretty good too. It actually I thought it did have a tenderness, and for something that wasn't sauced, I thought it had very good flavor. I thought number 3 wasn't bad, a little bit on the pot roast type of flavor, but overall not too bad. And I think actually number 6 was rather good too. 4 and 5, I think, were a little overcooked and dry, consequently. But I think overall, everybody did a real fine job. I, really couldn't fault anybody. I don't think I scored under a 7 on anything.
All right, hi you guys. My name is Denny Mike. Dennis Michael Sherman for the uninitiated, if you will. We're here at the Mainely Grillin Chillin barbecue contest held at Raitt's Farm in Eliot, Maine. Here with my friends Mark and Karen from Barbecue TV. I'm happy that they came up and willing to film the festivities. We've got a great group here, 37 teams competing, another state championship I'm happy to be part of. And because my friends are coming from away, I wanted to make sure that they got some Maine, good Maine treatment and good Maine hospitality, and I'm happy to share that with them. We've got some fresh Maine lobster meat here. I'm going to make them up some lobster rolls. In the Maine tradition, we use a roll that is, I'll take this out, and I probably should have had it out, but you'll notice the difference, those of you that aren't from New England. This particular roll we use for a particular reason. They've got sides, nice flat sides. I'm going to butter that. Then I'm going to heat that up and brown that up quite nicely. Open that up. I'm going to put some shredded iceberg lettuce in there. Forget about any other kind of lettuce. We're doing it traditional Maine way. We've got 4 pounds of lobster meat here. I expect to make 4 beautiful lobster rolls at 1/4 pound apiece. I will use the minimal amount of mayonnaise that it's going to take to keep this just with the ability to kind of stick together to itself. At 4 pounds of meat takes about 16 pounds of lobster. Okay, so really it's a 4-to-1 ratio, and that is dependent too on whether it's a soft shell or a hard shell. Hard shell is going to be packed full of meat, so I will definitely get a pound out of 4 lobsters. For 1 to 1 1/4 pound lobsters. Now when they're soft shell, they're not as full of meat, they're actually growing into that shell. There's going to be substantially less. It's going to be, we feel, sweeter because of its young age and transitional nature, and you're probably going to end up 5 to 6 lobsters, a pound, pound and a quarter lobster, to end up with a pound of clear meat such as we have here. So I am going to just chop in a very coarse chop. I want to be able to maintain the texture and that let's call it granularity of the product. I'm going to put that in. You can see just nominally. I have this in, just for those of you who are wondering what I've done. I have a strainer into which I am draining off any excess liquid. I want that meat to be as dry as I can possibly get it while maintaining some natural moisture. So I think we're able to do that. Again, you can see me just very coarsely chopping. I'm not worried about a big piece of claw, knuckle meat ending up in somebody's sandwich, and I bet they aren't going to be complaining about it either, I'll tell you what. So you can see how easily 2 or 3 little whacks is going to get you. We freeze it. I will vacuum seal this stuff. It'll, when I bring it out 6 months to 8 months or 12 months later, it's going to taste like it was picked this morning. It's very important that to vacuum seal it, keep all the air out of it, and when in this business, I'm quick to say, oxygen is the enemy. So you want to make sure that it's in a sealed environment, a cool, chilled environment. You don't want water coming into it. You want to keep it as dry and as fresh and as picture perfect as this is by itself. Alright, so we have freshly chopped meat into which I am going to add what I call or would consider to be the most nominal amount of mayonnaise that I can get away with adding and holding the texture that I'm looking for. And I'm just going to put in about a cup. I've got 4 pounds of meat. All I'm going to do is mix that in, just toss it. I just want to, and I know right now that this is absolutely the perfect amount of mayonnaise. Just a little bit, just like that. I fill this thing just like that. And believe me, that is a sandwich for the ages. A little bit of pixie dust in lieu of my mother's traditional paprika. And there is a Maine lobster roll with Denny Mike's award-winning pixie dust seasoning on.
Hi, I'm Megan, here at Hidden Pines Family Campground in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. We're located just a short walk or a trolley ride to 7 miles of beautiful sandy beaches. Here we have 300 sites available and a gorgeous heated pool, as well as tall pines and beautiful scenery to enjoy with your family. We are pet friendly as well. And we are open from May all the way through until Labor Day weekend. We still have sites available for this Labor Day, and if you're interested in next season, book early. We open January 2nd at 8 a.m. to take reservations. Our office is open from 8 a.m. until 10:30 p.m. to take reservations. You can call us at 207-934-2352. Feel free to check us out on the web before you call, hiddenpines.com, spelled HIDNPINES, no spaces.
Hi, I'm Danielle from Powderhorn Family Camping Resort here in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. We're a family-friendly and pet-friendly campground, a little less than 1 mile from Old Orchard Beach. We have 485 sites. We can accommodate all the way from small tents to big rigs. We have 50 amp and 30 amp sites. We start taking reservations on January 2nd, and our season runs from May until Columbus Day. Oh, you can find us at www.maincampgrounds.com, on Facebook.